Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurinda Hairunisha. My ID number A121-19143. I'm from Group 2. Our material is about languages, dialect, and varieties. So I will explain the first part is about language, dialect, and varieties. So what is language, dialect, and varieties? Language is the ability of humans to communicate with other humans using signs such as words and gestures. The scientific study of language is called linguistics. The next is dialect. Dialect is a variation of English that is associated with a particular region or social class. To state differently, speakers from geographic areas speak English in somewhat different ways. Geographical variation, the social background of the speaker, will also affect the variety of English that people use. It is this combination of regional and social variation that I refer to collectively as dialect. Variety is a specific set of linguistic items or human speech patterns, like perhaps sounds, words, grammatical feature, etc., that we can attribute to some apparently external factor, geographic area, or social group. The next is about language and dialect. Language and dialect can be the same when language was spoken by a few people and has only one variety, but some experts say it is unsuitable to say dialect, and language is the same because the requirement of lower per part cannot be found. Language is the human ability to acquire and use complex systems of communication, and language is any specific example of such a system, while dialect is a variety of language that is distinguished from other varieties of the same language by features of phonology, grammar, vocabulary, and by its use by a group of speakers who are set off from other geographically or socially. That's all from me. Thank you. The next material will be explained by Sunarti.
Thank you, Inda. And the next material is about standardization. Standardization is codification of language in some way. Standardization refers to the process by which a language has been codified in some way, and that process usually involves the development of such things such as like grammar, spelling books, dictionaries, and possibly a literature. And the next is about regional variation. Regional variation is a variation in a speaking language, because there are maybe a lot of variation in the language if you move from one location to another location, because as we know that there are a lot of variation language in Indonesia. For example, like in the central Sulawesi, there are a lot of variation of language, so it can be called a regional variation. Thank you, and the next material will be continued by my friends Nurul Hafif Amanda.
Okay, I will continue the next point, social dialect. Social dialect in sociolinguistics is a variety of speech associated with a particular social class or occupational group within a society, also known as socialect, group dialect, and class dialect. And the last point about what the meaning of style, register, and belief. Okay, for the first, style. Style in sociolinguistics, it means the range of variation within the speech of an individual speaker. For example, a variation of language from formal to informal. And then register, it is a occupational style with jargon that describes the language of a group of people with common interests or jobs, or the language used in situations associated with such groups. And then about the jargon, Jargon is a specialist vocabulary specialist developed to talk about their specialist too. And the third, beliefs in sociolinguistic, it means is a systems of ideas or ideology. Some people believe that certain language is a lack of grammar. We can speak English without accent. The representation of belief can operate the interests of an identifiable social class or cultural groups. I think that's all.
So the conclusion of our material, lower part of variety language is dialect, and as the main part is language. Register are varieties of language used in different situations which are identified by degrees or of formality. Language may change forms region to region, from one social to another, from individual to individual, and from situation to situation. These actual changes result in the varieties of language. There are some points of varieties of language.